All right, so we go on to learn that the theory of innate ideas is one account of how we can have a priori knowledge. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the triangle filled in here with branches. And then here we're going to use the arrows to cover all three words. Remember, it's not prior knowledge like I first read. It's not priori knowledge. It's a priori knowledge. Okay. Other rationalists believe that if the mind does not already contain these ideas, they are at least what? Self-evident or natural to the mind, and the mind has a natural predisposition to recognize them. Okay, so this is giving you an alternative rationalistic take on how we can know things using only pure thought. So even if we don't already come preloaded with certain ideas or truths that experience can help us rediscover from within, there is another way to understand how we can come to, through pure thought, find out about these universal fundamental truths. And so this notion of what it means to be self-evident is extremely important to the rationalist. A way to think about that is self-evident to what? The mind, or natural to the mind. We're not going to put a triangle over that. And that the mind has a natural predisposition to recognize them. So that is an alternative explanation to innate ideas. So let's write that here. Alternative explanation that does not appeal to, and what I want you to write here, innate ideas, underline not. That does not appeal to innate ideas. For example, now he's giving you an example of a philosopher who has this particular view as a rationalist. Gottfried Leibniz. I once, in graduate school, spent 6 to 7 weeks just reading from Leibniz. I even wrote a paper, but it wasn't about Leibniz epistemology, it was about his metaphysics. A German rationalist compared the mind to a block of marble that contains veins or naturally splitting points that allow only one sort of shape to be formed within it. Thus, what is thus, guys? A premise or conclusion indicator? Conclusion indicator. So again, the author of this textbook is drawing a conclusion on behalf of a philosopher. Okay? So this is not Lawhead's conclusion necessarily. He's saying this is the conclusion that Gottfried Leibniz draws based on this metaphor. Okay? Let's go ahead and circle that. Here we're saying, hey, this is another conclusion that's being drawn on behalf of a philosopher. And you could think of this part, the metaphor, as a kind of descriptive premise. The mind, like the marble, has an innate structure. Oh, innate structure. Do I want to put triangles? No, let's not worry about that. But we could underline this. Innate structure that results in inclinations, dispositions, habits. Let's underline it because of the important point that is drawn by Leibniz as a rationalist, to think in certain ways. In contrast to this view, so now he's giving us an opposing view from John Locke, and we got a quote from John Locke on day 1 when it comes to the importance of understanding our own understanding, using our understanding, and we will come to read some direct text from Locke soon. He says, in contrast to this view, John Locke, an empiricist, not a rationalist, said, there is nothing in the intellect that was not first in the senses. You see how that's an opposing view given everything we've learned about the anchor points of rationalism. In response, Leibniz tags the following rationalistic qualification at the end of Locke's formula, except for the intellect itself. Boom! Okay, so that's a comeback. That's a clap back from the rationalist, if you will. Okay? Locke is saying, no, there's nothing in the mind or the intellect or the brain or whatever you want to call it that didn't first come from sensory experience. Because you got to keep in mind, that's what the rationalists are saying. Not everything has to first come from or ultimately derive from alleged superior source of the senses. That's what they're saying. And Locke is saying, except, no, that's not true. But there's nothing in the mind possible or self-evident to the mind possible prior to sensory experience. And then again, Leibniz with his response, except the intellect itself. Interesting. Okay. So let's go ahead and underline that. Tag the qualification, except this is just really interesting. Let's just kind of put an exclamation mark right there. Okay, let's do one more video and we will be done with this lesson.